If you're watching this video, you're most likely a soccer or football player or a football team, or even a club, but you're looking to improve your athletic performance in 2024. This video outlines a strength and conditioning program that you can follow, and it's going to highlight key attributes to work on and provide you with a detailed plan for March. Whether you're an athlete aiming to reach your full potential, a coach after some guidance, or a parent wanting a better idea of what their children could be working on, this video is going to answer your questions. So the first question you might have is, who am I? My name is Neil Gorman, and I'm a Australian Strength and Conditioning Association strength and conditioning coach. If you haven't come across one of those before, I work exclusively with athletes to get them fitter and faster for their particular sport. I've just come back from 3 months in the UK where I worked as an S&C coach for League One professional club, Exeter City Football Club. I live in Brunswick, East Melbourne, Australia, with my wife, 2 children, and silly dog. So, as a strength and conditioning coach, what is my aim? My aim is to get you, I'm aiming this at the players now rather than coaches or parents, my aim is to get you fit enough so that you can get to where you need to get to, when you need to get there, do what you need to do, and do that for 90 minutes. In terms of the approach that I use, I work on a season plan, and I'm going to create a series of videos which will basically go through this season plan as the season continues. And you'll notice we've got dates across the top here. Down here, though you can't read them, are the attributes that I'll be looking to work on. And then depending on what time, how I'm going to develop those particular attributes. In terms of development, generally my expectation is that you'll probably only have 2 20 to 30 minute sessions per week to work on developing your physical attributes. And for me, I would work on speed strength, or jump training as it's generally referred to, plyometrics, speed, acceleration, deceleration, the ability to change direction, aerobic and anaerobic fitness. The difference between the two of those is aerobic you can breathe, anaerobic you generally can't. Anaerobic is generally the less pleasant of the two. You won't see strength down there because I'm assuming that if you are a team of players, you're probably not going to have access to a gym. So in terms of March, therefore, which is the start of our season over here in Australia, I'm going to be working on speed, specifically acceleration, repeat sprint ability, the ability to sprint, rest, and sprint again, some basic jump training, change of direction, and some benchmarking to assess how my players are doing now and to see whether they're making any improvements or going backwards. So in terms of the first activity for March, I'm assuming to repeat, I've got 2 sessions per week and I've got 2 activities per session. So this one is working on your ability to repeat sprint. You know, can you sprint, rest? And I call it, or it's called, protect the ball. And you can watch the players there. So there's a group of 4 players. I'm going to call them the defenders. And one on the outside we'll call the attacker. We'll just watch that one again. Okay. And you'll see that the defender's job clearly is to try and protect the ball. The attacker's job is to try and get the ball. So the way I would run it, I'd have, because I'm assuming you're going to have probably 16 to 18 players in your team. So groups of 4 to 5 players, one player being the attacker trying to get the ball, as we said, the others trying to protect it, they being the defenders. And each player will spend 60 seconds in the attacker role. Within that time, if they get the ball as the attacker, they release it back to the defenders and go again. It's about trying to, get into moving quickly. If you are the coach watching this, then your job is simply to explain the rules and to manage the time. So just notify everyone when the 60 seconds has happened. In terms of equipment, real simple. All you need, ball, stopwatch. So you're also going to have a second activity to improve your ability to repeat sprint. This one is called shuttles. And you can see the players running up 10, 20 and 30 metre lines, picking up a ball off a field cone marker before they pass it to their colleague, or more relevantly, take it out of the ball. And that person now takes those balls and puts them back on the field markers. Okay. So in terms of the detail, again, working on the premise, there's going to be 16 to 18 of you. I'm going to suggest 8 groups with 2 to 3 players in each group, and you'll be running 4 groups at a time. So in that previous video, you saw 2 groups of 2 players. I would have 4 groups of 2 players or 3, as the case might be. The fastest 2 groups, or the fastest group wins. The fastest 2 groups is what I will be focusing on in that first group of 4 and in the second group of 4. All players will start, as you saw them, in a 3-point stance. So they've got both feet obviously on the floor and one hand. And the first player, as we said, will run up to the 10-meter mark, 10-meter field marker. And if you don't know what a field marker is, it's the coloured cones on the bottom of the screen there. That's a field marker. They collect the ball, run back to the start, and put the ball in the bucket. Okay. They then run out to the 20-meter field marker, put the ball onto that one, run back, pick up another ball. So let's get into the specifics. I would run it as 8 groups. You saw in the previous video that they had 2 groups of 2 players. I would run it as 8 groups. I'd have 2 to 3 players in each group, and I'd run 4 groups at a time. So you got 4 groups of 2 players running against each other. Clearly the fastest group wins. But I'm actually more interested in the 2 fastest groups in each of those categories. All players will start in a 3-point stance. So, you're obviously going to have both feet on the floor, clearly, but one hand as well. And as you saw, the first player is going to run to the 10-meter field marker. I differentiate a field marker, which is those things in colour on the screen there, against a witch's hat or cone, which is the thing in black at the bottom of the screen there. So the first player is going to run out to the 10-meter field marker, going to get the ball that's on the top of it. They're going to run back to the start, put that ball in the bucket. They're going to run out to the 20-meter mark and repeat the process. Take the ball off the field marker, run back, put it in the bucket, and then do it again for the 30-meter line. At which point the second player is going to start, but this time they're going to be collecting the ball from the bucket. They're not going to get it passed across like we saw in the video. The person will take it out of the bucket and run out to the 10-meter field marker where they'll put it, and repeat that again for the 20 and 30-meter one. When player 2 finishes, player 1's going to go again. And when they finish, player 2 goes again. So each player is going to do 10 meters, 20 meters, 30 meters twice within one session. And the game is over, obviously, when the second player completes their second lot of shuttles. And then the fastest 4 groups, so the fastest 2 from the first run and the fastest 2 from the second one, will go against each other, and the slower 4 groups will go against each other. So you're going to do this activity twice. If a ball doesn't go into the bucket or doesn't stay on the field marker, the player has to repeat that particular shuttle. So if they ran out of the 10-meter shuttle, put the ball on the field marker and it fell off, they would need to do that shuttle again, but only that particular shuttle. Coach, there's no timekeeping on this one. You just simply need to explain the rules. And in terms of equipment, you're going to need 4 buckets, 12, apologies, a mistake there, typo, 4 buckets, 12 field markers, and 12 tennis balls. Okay, so that is our first session of the week where we're working on repeat sprintability. Our second session of the week, we're going to work on speed. This activity is called Run the Plank. You can get an idea as to why it's called that to start with. So everyone's in a plank position. And one player runs, in this case, touches the wall, runs back, gets back into a plank, and the next player goes. So in terms of the specifics, I would this time just divide into 2 teams. So if you've got 18 players, 9 on one, 9 on the other. Everyone starts obviously in the plank position, and then the first player from each team runs 20 meters and picks up a field marker that has been placed for them. So different to the video that you just saw, they just touched the wall. This time you as the coach, you put a field marker 20 meters out, and the first player from the team runs and picks it up. They then bring it back and give it to the next player who runs 20 meters again, but this time putting the field marker down. And the player who just ran, the one who picked the field marker up and brought it to the second player, they get back into a plank position. And this is repeated until all players finish. Coach, again, no timing required on this one, just explain the rules. And in terms of equipment, very simple, 2 field markers, 1 for one team and 1 for the other. So again, we're working on acceleration. You can see why. Everyone's going to run click quickly because no one's going to want to be in plank for too long. This one, the second activity for speed, mini golf, as I call it. So a lot of talking by me then. Let's just watch that video again. Okay, so you notice a person running out and putting their cone onto a field marker, and then one person kicking the ball at all of the cones. Let's see that once more time. So running out, putting the cone on the field marker, running out, putting the field on the cone marker, and then one person kicking the ball. That Skittles is a great game. It's different to what I'm going to propose. Similar but different. So you're going to have groups of 4 or 5 players. Again, if you have, depending on the numbers that turn up on the evening. And in this case, player 1 is going to run out and put their witch's hat onto one of the 2 field markers that will be set up for their group. They'll then run back, touch hands with player 2. Player 2 will repeat this, and they'll put their witch's hat on the other field marker. So when you look down ahead of you as the group, you'll see 2 witches' hats, whereas before you saw 2 field markers. Players 3 and 4 then do the same, so you end up with 2 witches' hat on each of the field markers. And then one player from each team then has to try and kick the ball between the witches' hats. But the team that wins is not necessarily the first team to get the ball, it's the first team to get the ball between the witches' hats. So you may get the witches' hats on first, okay, and then completely miss getting the ball in between the witches' hats. You don't win. The team that wins is the one who gets the ball between the witches' hats first. The fastest 2 teams then go against each other, as do the slower 2 teams. Coach, again, your job is simply to explain the rules, and equipment-wise, 2 soccer balls, naturally, 4 field markers, 10 witches' hats in case you have 5 players per team. So there we are. So in terms of it, as I say, a strength and conditioning program for soccer players, teams and clubs, and will be useful for you if you're a player, coach, or a parent in terms of having an idea of what your children could be working on. We looked at the key attributes that I would be looking to develop to enable you to get to where you need to, when you need to get there, do what you need to do, and do that for 90 minutes. And I would approach developing those attributes in a planned way over the course of the season, and even in the pre-season and the off-season. And I've just started by touching on what I would use in March to start developing some of those key attributes. Clearly, if you've got any questions, and if you're a strength and conditioning coach watching this, if you've got any suggestions that you can make to make this better for me, please let me know in the comment section below. I know that some people watching this will be the players and parents and coaches of the teams that I work with. But even if you're not, there's a variety of ways you can contact me. You can contact me on Insta at Perf Matters, TikTok the same, LinkedIn actually at Athletic Performance Matters, Facebook the same. You can go old school if you want with email with neil@athleticperformancematters.com.au, the world's longest email address, my apologies. And you can also go even more old school as well and actually pick up the phone if you want to, +61 432 510 480. Be aware of the fact that I am in Australia and therefore there could well be a time difference. Love to speak to you naturally, but 3 o'clock in the morning might be slightly challenging for myself. So that's it from me. Like I say, any questions or any comments, please put them in the comment section below. Great. Thank you.